So this week's review is on the Thing Zero1 Freeride wheels.
Wash my bones up on the shore. I brandish my white horn, awake the ancient lure. Willow weep, for I have sinned. Let me breathe your hauntings. Carve satin markings on my yellow flesh. Violet petals fly in the mesh. The moon cocoons a fragile fetus in her swollen cave. Wrap me in your gauzy haze.
Now, Thing are a brand based in France. All their products are completely made and manufactured in France. For example, this wheel, totally made, the core is made in France, urethane poured and designed in France, all that stuff. Just think that's really cool. And I think it's important to promote and support these small brands because most of the time they're the change makers and the people in the community pushing the sport at a grassroots level. And if we want the community and sport to grow as a whole, we need these people that bring people together and that hold communities together. Right, so let's get on to the review. By the way, Thing did send me these wheels for free because they were stoked on an article that I wrote. But my review will be unbiased and I'll be fair and critical where I need to be. So let's get into the specs. This wheel is 70 millimeters tall. It has a 52 millimeter width with a 38 millimeter contact patch. It comes in three main durometers labeled soft, medium, and hard. Sorry, this is the medium durometer in yellow, and it has a large core, one of the largest that I've seen on a freeride wheel. And the creator says that he doesn't like to talk about things in terms of durometer because he believes that the shape of the core, shape of the lips, shape of the wheel affect feel more than durometer. These are 78A, and I largely agree with him, by the way. Right, so let's get into the wheel review. As always, there's a more in-depth review in the description that you can check out. Right, so first thing that I noticed about this wheel is the roll speed. Despite being a freeride wheel, these roll really fast, and that's really refreshing for me. I personally don't like freeriding and freeride wheels because they roll really slowly. Most of the roads here aren't very fast, so with most freeride wheels, I'm really fighting to pick up speed, like I'm trying to talk hard, take the best line through a corner, and it's just not as fun. That's normally why I mostly skate race wheels and do hands down stuff. It's more challenging for me. But these roll really fast, so they were able to make freeriding fun for me once more, and that's something I really appreciate. They're also fun to cruise around on. Most freeride wheels aren't very nice to cruise around on. They don't hold speed very well, but these have uh, a lot of acceleration, a lot of momentum, and they keep the speed. So that's good. Next, they're well supported. They have a very large core that's about 39 millimeters in diameter and 40 millimeters wide, which is almost as large as the cannibal core used in Venom Magnums, which is about 39 millimeters tall and 43 millimeters wide. So, yeah, quite large. And the urethane on this is quite dense. So, as a wheel, it's well supported, it's solid. So, I think that's what gives it its fast roll speed and consistent performance, as I'm about to tell you. Right. And because the thing is quite dense, and because of that, I'd be really excited to try this wheel out in a race wheel shape. I think it can have comparable performance to some of the current race wheels in the market because of how dense the urethane is, how fast rolling it is, and how large the core is. So I'd be excited to try that out. Right, so let's talk about how they slide and how they hook up. So the wheels have a very consistent and forgiving hookup and kick out. With most freeride wheels, well, not most, with some freeride wheels, they feel different at slow speeds as they do at high speeds, but these have a very consistent kick out and hookup that's very confidence inspiring. It's not as forgiving as the kick out on snakes, which kind of just like go all sugary into the slide. No, but it's very consistent and it's a great feeling. The slide on these is icy, but it's not very icy. It has a level of resistance that's very consistent, and whilst they do, whilst they're not very forgiving, once because they can ice out if you're not careful. The most other wheels are more forgiving in that aspect. Um, that level of resistance allows you to have a sort of consistent performance. So yeah, icy, but a decent amount of resistance that it doesn't feel uncontrollable. Still quite good. Yeah, and they do have a forgiving slide. Though when they ice out, still recover if you have the skill to do so. Right. So what didn't I like about these wheels? So they're quite expensive. They retail at about 70 euros on the Thing website, and that's really expensive, given that other wheels like the Pearl Snakes are 50 euros in Europe, 50 euros in Europe, and other wheels like Slide Perfect are about the same or about less than 50 euros. So quite expensive, but kind of expected as you're buying from a small brand that does everything themselves. They perhaps don't have the same economies of scale as other brands and aren't able to spread the cost of manufacturing amongst many other wheels. So, yeah. But I would argue because they're quite durable and because they have a high level of performance that it's worth to spend that 70 euros at least once just to uh, try out the wheel. One thing I didn't like though, this one is really personal preference, is that the wheel was quite icy for open road riding. Though I still would take them on open roads and do stuff, I just felt like I had to be a bit more on point with my control and focus in order to handle them. But also the flip side of that, because they slid so, yeah, I just had to be a bit more focused because they slide really easy. And with hands down stuff, if you're not so on point, they can ice out if you're not careful. That's how I felt. But yeah, so who should get them? If you're tired of the monotonous of what the mainstream brands have to offer, this is a wheel to get. If you're a European rider looking to support a brand or looking for something new, this is a wheel to try out. If you're a dancer that needs a wheel that rolls fast and holds its speed, this is the one to get, but it might be a bit heavy. Um, what else? If you want a fast freeride wheel that's durable, this is the one to get. If you're a beginner looking to get to grips with slides, this is a wheel to get. It's quite flat spot resistant, and despite me blasting slides at 90 many times, it hasn't flat spotted yet. And in fact, it hasn't worn down much or at all since I've been using it. Right? So who shouldn't get it if you're on a budget? 70 euros is expensive for a wheel, and though it does last long and it's quite durable, not a lot of people have that as a budget for a wheel. Finally, if you want a fast cruiser wheel, this is a good one. So yeah, thank you for watching the review. Shout out to my patrons, Mogi, Jed, Superbad Juju, Kasaja, Andrew, J, Jan, and Samil. I hope I haven't gotten your name wrong. Thanks for supporting me. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you're interested in supporting me, the Patreon thing comes with a lot of other nice goodies. Like, for example, I've recently started adding all my patrons to my close friends list, so you can see stuff that I'm reviewing. You can see stuff that gear that I'm currently like working on, and maybe one or two quick opinions I might have and stuff like that. So yeah, and yeah, so check out Thing Wheels, support small brands when you can, and yeah, thanks for watching the review.